Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Town of Eastchester Architectural Review Board meeting for November 7, 2024. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Noel, if you would, please roll call.
Sure. Laurel Gaffney.
Here.
Enda McIntyre.
Here.
Jennifer Nemisek.
Here.
Sylvia Luca. And the Chair, Laura Raffiani.
Here. All righty, and I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of October 1st, 2024, except for Silvio and I were not at that meeting, so maybe.
Yeah, so somebody wants, if Laurel, Enda, or Jennifer want to make the motion, and then.
Sure. I'll make the motion to approve the minutes of, what was the date again?
October 1st.
October 1st, 2024. Second, do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Okay. All righty, we're switching things up a little bit this evening, and we're doing old business first, and that application is application 24-36 for the address of 77 Alcamont Avenue. Okay, you can put your bigger drawings up on the board here, please, and you can take the mic with you if you are ready to, if you're working with the drawings. Is it me, or do we have bigger drawings than you do?
Yeah, you have the 24 by 36.
Okay, so maybe you want to put those on the,
Do you have, did you bring a computer, or are you going to put them on the screen, or do you want them?
Yeah, we need to bring it to you.
Here, you want to just borrow it?
okay.
Enda, did you want?
No, that's fine, I can share.
We're good.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Sorry, couldn't be here at the last meeting. My name is Andrew Collingham. I'm the architect for 77 Alcamont. This is my associate here, Alex Glass. So this is a single-family property, as you know, that's undergoing a substantial renovation and an addition. Currently, the house is in serious disrepair, and so the owner, my client, Anthony Gizzo, and his team are going to be renovating it. So the concept behind the project is to demolish a portion of the house, which is, if you look here at this existing plan, in the basement there's currently a single car garage that we're going to be demolishing, and the addition is going to be situated on the left side of the property, because that's where we have more room. If you see on this existing survey here, the house is closer, favoring the right side property line, so we're going to utilize this current left side yard for the addition. The addition is comprised of a two-car garage in the basement, which is, above that is going to be a family room, and above the family room is going to be a master suite addition. So in terms of the materials and the aesthetics, the architecture is more in line with a center hall colonial style, something that's fitting for the neighborhood. The colors are sort of neutral and muted colors that aren't too loud or are more fitting in line with the neighborhood. So in terms of the materials, we're going with a hardy product. Combination, we're mixing and matching some lap siding on the first and second floor. And then at the attic level, we're going to go with a hardy shake panel siding. Both are fiber cement siding products that are low maintenance, easy to cut, easy to maintain, and they look attractive, just like wood. For the trim, that product is going to be a PVC AZAC trim at the corner boards. The skirt board, the frieze boards, and all the soffits and fascias, as well as the window and door casings. Again, low maintenance and a good choice for exterior trim. The roofing is going to be Timberline HD asphalt architectural shingle in the charcoal color. And then I believe last time we were missing some of the selections for the hardscaping, such as the patios and the retaining wall. The retaining wall is going to be concrete interlocking block product. Kind of difficult to see here, but there was also a question last time about the grading around the property as it pertains to the heights of the retaining wall. So on the right side of the driveway here, we're going with the 6-foot maximum retaining wall that fits the grade, and it suits the elevation of the garage and the entrance from the driveway. And then on the left side of the driveway, as it pertains to the grade, on the left side of the driveway here, it's about a 4-foot high retaining wall. And then both of these walls slope down to about 0 when they get to the street level. So these retaining walls are necessary to play into the topography of the existing grades so that we can maintain access to the garage at the basement level. The current situation is the same concept, but we are shifting the garage over to make up this new addition here. So it's the same concept. The driveway has a slight pitch towards the garage doors, where we have a trench drain in front of the garage doors to catch stormwater. And then on the front yard here, we have a walkway, concrete paver walkway, Unilock product. Again, it's sort of a muted gray color, very neutral. And that walkway wraps around to the side yard where there's an entrance into the mudroom at the side here. One of the comments that we received was pertaining to guardrails or railings around the retaining wall and at the front door. Both of those conditions are not a code requirement because there's not a walking surface adjacent to a 30-inch or more drop. So at the front door here, we only have 2 risers, which is roughly 1 foot. So by code, we don't need a guardrail or a hand railing because it's less than 4 risers. And the same condition exists for the side yard. For the driveway, even though we have a 6-foot retaining wall, there's not a walking surface within 36 inches of that retaining wall. So by code, it's not a requirement to have a guard railing there. So that was kind of a lot. I don't know if anybody has any specific questions on our amended set.
The existing home that's existing?
Correct, yeah, a portion of it. So this,
Do you have photos of the existing home?
we submitted it on the original submission. I don't have any with me. I don't know if you can pull any up on your phone.
Because I know you're saying that the left side is an addition, but what's happening to the right side? I wasn't at the last meeting.
Oh, okay.
Because it looks like the whole house is new to me.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah. So we're taking the entire second floor down, the roof, as well as the second floor walls. And then keeping the first floor walls, and then we're just repurposing them, including them in the new design.
So one of the questions we had last time was, I guess, the home on the right side, the existing home, on A3, there was kind of just some confusion regarding the extent of the existing foundation versus the new foundation.
Sure. If you look at this existing basement floor plan, you can see that the existing garage is on the left side of the house. So what we are doing is effectively building where this garage is, so that's getting removed. And the new garage is going to go right next to it, 2-car wide. So if you look here on this plan, this dark delineation line here shows the difference between existing on this right side and proposed on the left side.
Right.
So this is the extension here, but this is all new foundation that wraps around here.
All new foundation just on the left side, to the left side of the,
Of that dark line, correct. Yep.
so everything on the right side, it's just existing poured concrete foundation wall to remain?
Correct, yep.
Before you, so you're just pinning the new, so what, are you saw, like, are you saw cutting it? Like,
Well,
left
it's-
to that hatch line?
Well, it starts where the existing garage door is. So the garage door is going to go, obviously, and then this is all going to get removed here. And then, yes, we're gonna cut where this dash line starts, which is right about here, and that's going to get removed.
And the existing foundation is poured concrete?
Correct.
How old is the house? Existing house?
I'm not sure of the exact date, probably in the 50s.
It looks it,
Looks older than that.
and it's poured concrete?
Yep.
So the existing house,
Yeah, the garage,
the existing footprint of the existing house is not getting enlarged, only the new?
yeah, it is getting enlarged.
It is getting enlarged?
Yeah.
So you're contradicting yourself then. I mean,
Well, no, it's an addition
'cause
project.
I know there's addition to the left. I'm talking about the existing house. You're
Yep.
taking off the second level and building a new level? Because
Correct.
scale-wise, the house is another 12 feet higher than this house. So
Correct.
that means it's probably getting deeper as well. So there's a rear foundation, or no?
Say that again?
Is there a new foundation behind the existing house?
No, it's actually getting smaller behind it. If you go to this first floor plan, you can see. So this is the current existing first floor plan. As Anthony had mentioned, this den area on the side, which is above the garage, was an addition at some point. So the existing house is really this square shape here. There's two very shoddy additions in the back here that are not on foundation. They are just cantilevered, sort of hanging in the air. So those have to come down. So effectively, this square right here is the existing house that is being preserved, and this piece here is the addition.
So I think what would be helpful, right?
Yep.
Hopefully you'll agree, is just a sort of rudimentary, sort of almost like a block diagram where it kind of clearly indicates the footprint of the existing
Sure.
home. And, you know, maybe the subtraction of those cantilevered portions that you're talking about, which, you know, are kind of sort of structural elements and don't have a foundation. And then just maybe in sort of cross-hatching indicating, you know, the new addition. So it's very clear, but in a simplistic kind of form, because I think
Yeah.
that's kind of the, you know, the conundrum we had the last time where,
It's
you
kind
know,
of,
it was difficult to, you know,
yeah, it's
see
kind of
that.
difficult because the garage is being demolished. So even though, like this part here, we're showing it as new, when we're constructing this will be new. But in terms of existing proposed, this section right here is quote-unquote existing, but it needs to be removed in order to properly construct the new foundations in the new house that we're building.
so it's new foundations on everything.
Not on everything. Yeah, again, if you look at the existing basement, this garage here is existing, but it needs to be completely demolished
Right.
in order to be conducive with the new project. So this rectangle here that's maybe 10 by 20 is existing in shape, which is right here, but in terms of what we're calling new construction, this needs to be newly constructed.
Right, okay.
But from a diagrammatic perspective, I understand what you're saying, overlay, hatching.
Right.
To understand, but these are more construction drawings and
I
how they
understand
would
that,
be.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying that, but everything to the right of the hatch line, because again, I'm looking at the old drawing just for reference.
Yeah.
Right? And you have made some clear additions, i.e. the sort of, you know, the existing on the left, or the new on the left and the existing on the right. But the foundation to the right of the dotted line, right,
This one.
That's an existing foundation.
Correct. This whole area is existing to remain.
And I think to my colleague's point,
Yep,
that footprint is remaining.
correct.
You're
Yep,
not extending it out the back, you're just increasing it in height.
correct, yep.
Are you changing the posts and footings supporting the beam in the basement too?
Correct, the existing slab, yep.
Okay, because the columns are, in the existing, don't match the locations of the columns in
Yep.
the new. And so you need to specify that those 3 footings are all brand new also.
Yep,
There's a note
Yeah,
on
we-
one of them, but it's not clear that the other 2 are also new.
yeah, so here, there's a note, 2 foot by 2 foot, spot footing, but yeah, the other 2 would be, you know,
Yeah,
typical.
I think it just needs to
Yeah.
be clarified what exactly is new versus what's existing and staying.
Sure.
I have a, so you said it's gonna be hardy plank, right?
Hardy plank,
All
yep,
the windows are new?
correct, yep.
What kind of windows, what kind of grills? STL, what
As
have you?
shown, no grills,
No grills?
yeah, as shown on here.
No, I'm
Why
looking
you-
at that. I'm just thinking, my personal opinion. The house reads very tall, and I think it needs more detail, like grill work.
Because it's reading a little flat.
And also, even though you don't need a railing at the front door, I think it should have a railing for aesthetics, not for code.
Yeah, I don't know, I think it would be a little funny to have a railing with just a 1 foot high platform off the ground.
You said it's 2 steps, right?
Yeah, 6 and 6
Yeah,
roughly.
it's not, like it's, well, and I think if you did some kind of like grill work, it'll make the house look a lot nicer, and maybe a horizontal element between the first and second level, which will make it read less tall.
Yeah, believe me, I would love to make, you know, a highly articulated, you know, piece of architecture, but there comes a point as a homeowner, you know, is this project worth, you know, endeavoring on all these finer details and expensive elements?
But that's the reason why we're here, as a
Yeah,
board.
I think there's a happy middle ground that we can come to, and it's also worth keeping in mind what is currently there and how we're improving that underlying or existing condition, and trying to just not only improve this particular house, but also the whole neighborhood. You know, how does that current structure weigh on the surrounding neighborhood currently?
But I do think that aesthetically, perhaps maybe like a 4/1 on the windows would complement the door that you have there.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that's not a problem. We can add, you know, any grill pattern that we want.
And also the windows in the attic, if that's a storage, I guess storage, they're aesthetically, they don't match the home. They're more modern, square, should be more of a rectangle, higher up to the ridge, not centered like that.
Yeah, well, these would be either casement or awning windows. The rest of the windows are
No,
double hung.
proportionally, I'm talking about. Right now,
Sure.
it's like a 30-inch by 30-inch window. It should be 2 by 3, for example,
Sure.
proportionally like the rest of the
Yeah, I
windows.
agree.
And higher up towards the ridge.
Okay.
And I think if you do put a horizontal element, it's not really costing much money.
In
Like
the
a-
windows?
Like a 5/4 by 12
No, like
between the first and
dividing
second
the
floor.
floors.
It'll make the home read not as tall.
Sure.
The windows on the first floor are, how tall are those windows? 6 foot?
I'm not sure off the top of my head. (5'6").
So how tall are the second floor windows then? They look out of scale. I mean, they look much bigger than the second floor windows.
(4'9" on the second floor.
Sylvia, if there was some sort of a like a dividing horizontal line, would it come into the portico in a weird place, or?
Well, it's the architect's decision where he wants to lay it. You know, he probably would want to line it up to the bottom of the portico, so it lines up with that,
Okay.
at that line.
But would that be too close to the windows, or no? The lower
Again, it
windows?
depends
Oh.
on where the head of the windows are, and also the portico could be raised. I'm just suggesting, because just by drawing that horizontal line, look at the house. See how it reads a lot? See how it reads? It reads
Sure.
a lot.
Yeah,
It reads very tall.
sure.
Noel, we had a list from the last meeting, and how much of that list have we discussed?
So we've discussed, so the list, let's just go through the list. And so it said to provide accurate grading, particularly near the driveway. Provide an elevation of the retaining wall. Clarify the proposed finishes, specifically whether the scallop siding is proposed. Provide the specifications for the railing at the top of the wall and the stairway, so we've discussed that to some extent. Clarify the walkway and steps on the side of the addition. Revise the rendering to match the elevation. Provide material samples of the retaining wall and any matching veneer or stone to be applied to the foundation wall. Provide a more definition and clarity on the plans as to what is existing to remain and what is new. Provide a separate existing conditions, proposed conditions and demolition plan, and clarify the note on sheet A3 regarding the foundation wall, which we've just discussed.
Yeah, I'll mention it. One comment that we had last time was the use of segmental retaining wall block along the driveway. Just, my own, recommendation is to not use segmental retaining wall block along driveways, because just the car loads, and it's a expensive thing to replace, and segmental retaining walls have a tendency to lean and move over time, and,
Yeah.
I typically recommend to do something like a cantilever retaining wall out of masonry or concrete instead.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I can run that by the owner. I know the segmental walls are much more affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. If the wall was supporting, say, the driveway, there would be a lot more surcharge on the wall. But yeah, they definitely do tend to fail. Although
You have 6 feet of retained soil along the side, along the house, and that's pretty high for a segmental retaining wall, especially when you have a stoop so close and it needs geogrid fabric in it.
For sure, yeah.
It definitely needs to be reinforced and designed for that height.
Yeah, definitely a geogrid every other course.
And I just want to note, we mentioned that at the previous meeting,
Yeah.
What's that?
about this retaining wall.
Yeah, the material or the size
The
of it?
material and the size.
Yeah,
Feature now where it kind of.
There is an elevation now, at least, so that's good.
I think the retaining walls, they build them
Stuff on.
stories high, 20, 30 feet high, and you can see them in different applications.
Ceiling and putting it-
So I think the structural integrity is something that can be resolved.
I don't think so. Is that what's
But if you have an issue with the look of it, then
Yeah.
I think that's a different discussion.
Okay. Do you have samples of it?
You wouldn't put 'em on.
What, is it
Yeah,
a
we brought
modular
in-
retaining wall, like a
Yeah,
mesa, like a
interlocking
mesa
block.
block?
Yep.
So it doesn't sit straight, it goes on an angle slightly?
Yeah.
Slightly, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I think we should put some of that in here.
Yeah, that's why I said
Yeah.
401.
Yeah, yeah.
Put that on the table.
All right,
Feel like this is a scene from Silence of the Lambs.
Clarice?
Oh, is that the block? Okay.
Yeah, it's a
It's a
block.
giant block. That's going to be the retaining wall material.
oh, wow, okay.
You can take the rest of the night off.
Back to the handrail or lack thereof in the front. I know it to code or whatever, but aesthetically, it definitely would look better. And I think just like, it's the entrance, and you have snow, you have ice or something, you need something to hold on to, especially older people, but even, you know,
Kids.
everybody needs something to grab when it
What-
starts to get slippery.
What color?
What color, is that what you said?
Yeah, what color would you suggest?
That's why you get paid the big bucks.
Well, I don't want to come back and make it gray and you guys wanted purple, so let's.
Well,
let's
a
figure
railing's
it
gonna
out
either be
now.
white or black, you're gonna get a PVC railing, right?
Yeah, if you want metal, plastic, we'll
I think
do
you need
whatever
something
you
that has a
want.
little bit of-
We just want to get this process, wrapped up, hopefully in the next meeting or maybe even this one.
Well, what are you proposing in the back? Is that all PVC?
Yeah, that would be for the deck there. Yeah, that would be a composite railing. So we could either match that or we can do a wrought iron metal railing.
I think the composite would look better.
What was that?
I think the composite would look better, because it's
Okay,
has
the
more
white?
substance.
Yeah. We can do that, absolutely.
You want to show them that?
Well, I don't think that it should be the shutters, that's the only
We
thing.
can have to do it here, too.
Well, anyway, yeah, let's just pass this along. so
Yeah, and
that-
you'd have to also do that on the right side
Are you
elevation,
gonna,
right?
Sure.
Do you want,
Yep.
do you want to pass
You
it on
got
to him? I mean, explain
Three
it.
risers right there.
You can.
This was just a suggestion by Silvio. You can't read, okay. And I think some of what he has here is what we just discussed. The railing, maybe some sort of grill on the windows. There, he has like a 2/1. I think honestly, the 4/1 would look best with the door. And then perhaps that delineation, the horizontal delineation between the floors.
The freeze
I-
board?
Yeah,
I
freeze
think, Silvio, did you put shutters there? Is
I
that what-
did, but I mean,
I'm thinking that if you put them on the right side, it makes the other
it-
side look like the addition.
no, if you did shutters, you have to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
I'm just saying that, like,
Yeah,
I think if you
every
put the
little thing
freeze
adds a little
in-
bit more detail.
yeah.
I think if you put the freeze in,
The
you,
handrail.
you sort of tighten the windows a little bit, you kind of give it a little bit, as much symmetry as you
Yep.
can, and you maybe mimic the, the,
The
you
front
know,
door.
yeah, the front door and maybe the top, the
Yeah,
top
yeah.
sash of the window.
Sure.
Now it's
Yeah.
kind of, it's got very classic, kind of colonial kind of a look to it.
Yep.
It's a little flat in its current rendition, right? I
Yep.
think you would agree. I
Yeah,
think
I
that's
agree.
the kind of,
Yep.
sort of reverb you're getting from the board.
Yep.
We recognize it's an upgrade from what it is, but again, the reason for this board is just to try and make it as good as it can be and make it, a statement project when it's all said and done. So I don't think we're asking for a tremendous amount.
Yep.
Just needs to kind of be refined a little bit so it kind of gives it a little bit more richness in terms of its design.
Understood. Yep.
A little more curb appeal.
Yeah.
A little more pizzazz.
Yep.
Sure. Okay.
Regarding the retaining wall and the plantings that you show, obviously, on the left-hand side,
Yep.
does the top of the retaining wall project above the grade level to any degree?
No, will be roughly flush. I mean, it's gonna be, the wall is orthogonal and the mulch bed or the plantings are sloped, so there's gonna be some negotiation there, but the idea is to get it as minimally extending above the grade as possible.
Is that, the sort of safest solution, you as the design professional, is that something, you would start out with?
What's that?
And, well, just having the top of that retaining wall flush with the grade. Like, it looks nice in the rendering, and you've you know, you've stated that because it's not adjacent to a walkway, you know, you don't need to have a railing on that wall. But again, you know, the rendering, it's not going to look like this right out of the box. You know, the renderings and the plantings have to
Oh, yeah.
grow. And I just think from a safety standpoint,
Yep.
I just think that this wall would feel safer if it, you know, projected above the grade. You're saying that the grass is flush to the top of the wall?
Well, it's not the grass, it's the mulch bed, the planting bed there.
Right.
It's kind of
But
to the corner, those corners, right?
Okay.
Yeah, the stone would be proud of the mulch bed because you don't want runoff and dirt and soil going over the wall, so there's gonna be some barrier there, but
Right, so it does
Yeah, I wouldn't-
project above it.
yeah, when I say flush, I mean visually flush, but there's gonna be some proudness of the wall over the mulch bed. I don't think it should extend more than 2 or 3 inches, but obviously there's some negotiation between the slope of the soil
Yeah.
and the stepping of the
Really
stone.
those little-
Yeah.
So it varies, but it shouldn't be, you know, blocking a person from falling over. That's not the purpose of this wall.
No, I understand that, but as long as it's not flush,
Yeah, it's gonna be.
you know, for maintenance and runoff, but I also think just from a safety and, you know, sort of a sense of, you know, safety, it shouldn't be flush, because it's not gonna be, you know, grown
Okay,
in
yeah.
right from day one.
Yeah,
I don't know, is this homeowners, is this your clients, is this where they're gonna live, or is this a spec house?
yeah, it's an investment property.
Okay, so there's a possibility there's gonna be young kids there, gonna be playing in the front yard. Again,
Yeah,
I think you just need a degree of,
that's why we added the plantings there.
I
As a
got you.
3-foot buffer.
That's why you added them in the picture.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I would say definitely put some plants.
Is this AC in the
Yeah.
back here?
I think a railing there would look unattractive because you have a 4 or 5-foot wall
Yeah.
plus a 3-foot railing. I think that would,
I'm not saying about,
Yeah,
I'm just
detrimental.
asking you if you
Yeah.
would increase you know, the height of the wall, so it's,
like
you
a
know, it's
curve.
not 2 inches, it could be
Yeah.
6 inches. And it could,
Yeah, yeah.
all you're doing is increasing the wall by 6 inches so that it's got some kind of a barrier, so
Yeah, yeah.
it's more of a visual, hey,
Yeah.
you know, you're just not gonna
Yeah.
kick a ball right off the side, or you're
more
not gonna run
defined.
over. Yeah, exactly.
Fine, yeah, okay, I got you.
Essentially a reveal, like a reveal on a curb, so that you'll show.
Yeah, a curb,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
You're just creating a curb at the top of the wall from where the grade runs in.
Sure.
Is the public hearing still open on this? I think
It
it
is,
is.
yes, it is.
Okay, so is there anyone here that would like to question or comment on this application? Excuse me. No? Okay, so then, close the
Motion,
public hearing.
well, hold on, before
Okay.
you do that, you've made several recommendations. Are you comfortable making those recommendations as a condition for the planning board to consider, or did you want to see this again? If you want to see a resubmission, then you need to keep the public hearing open. If you're comfortable referring to the planning board with conditions, then you
Yeah,
can close
I
it.
think I think we're comfortable moving it along, as long as, you know, that they're taken on board and, you know, you address those as part of the next phase of the approval process.
Okay.
Okay. So then I'd like to make a motion to close application 24-36 for the public hearing.
Second?
In favor?
Aye.
All righty. And then I'd like to make a motion to refer application.
Hold on,
24
I don't mean to, sorry to interrupt you, but do you want to go through, you have several conditions, I have a running list. Do you want to maybe talk
First?
about that first, and
Okay.
then we can just make sure to incorporate correctly what you want to include in the resolution?
Right.
Okay,
Okay, so I have a list, include a block diagram with footprints of the existing home, the elements to be removed, and the new elements. I'm not sure if you still want that, or if because of the nature of what's occurring, you think that does not have to be included.
I can't, I didn't hear that.
Oh, sorry, the block diagram showing the portion of the,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so, to include a block diagram with the footprint of the existing home, the elements that are being removed, and the new elements so that each element is clear. Condition 1. Clarify the note addressing the new footings that are proposed. The window in the attic should be proportional to the other windows in their setting, and the suggested side was 2 feet by 3 feet. Is that how you would like that condition to read, or should it read differently?
It does have to give a dimension, but not a square.
Yeah, okay. Sure. And rectangular, and just leave it at that?
There you go.
Okay. Let's see. Add a horizontal element between the first floor and the second floor. Add a white composite handrail to the front steps. Realign the proposed windows and doors. How would you like to express that, the grid that you would like to see? How would you like to express that so that the planning board will know what you're trying to get at?
Grid on the windows?
Correct.
So I'd-
4/1,
Okay.
with, to complement the front door. So the one window that's in the front, in the triangle, there are others on the ends as well, on the sides as well.
All those windows should match.
windows,
Okay.
in the attic space.
yeah.
And finally, the top of the retaining wall should not be flush to the grade. Consider making the wall approximately 6 inches higher than the adjacent grade. Was there anything that you think I missed?
Got it?
Is there any vent lines coming out of the roof for the bathrooms on the upper floors?
Of course, yeah.
Are they shown on the,
No, we don't go into that level of detail on the renderings.
But on
But
the
yeah,
plans?
no, not on the renderings,
It would be in the back of the house.
but are they
Well,
on
on the
the,
plans? Are they on the plans?
No, we don't show those in the plans.
no? On your construction drawings? you
We
don't
show a plumbing riser diagram, but it's not
Yeah, typically you
shown.
don't show them.
Okay.
Yeah, that's too detailed of a level. But yeah, they would go in the back of the house, that's a
Okay.
typical.
Okay, and then the gutters, I know they're
Yep.
white, but where are they? The leaders, I should say.
We can show those.
Show those.
Yeah, I mean, the roofer would
It's
cite
kinda
those in the
helpful.
corners, yeah. Those are more of a functional item to make sure that it's draining properly, but typically they go in the corners, not across the front door.
And did you include cuts on the lighting at all? Or are they all the same? No, they're definitely not all the
Yeah, I believe we submitted
same.
those last time.
I'm sorry?
I believe we submitted those last time.
Last time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they were,
So
Yeah.
just-
they were in there somewhere.
Just make sure that,
Yeah.
okay, that they're included with the planning board submission.
Submission, okay.
Alrighty, and so then,
Yep, so I've added 2 additional conditions to the ones we just previously reviewed to show the leaders on the elevations and the lighting, just to clarify that the lighting cut sheet should be included with the planning board submission.
so, I'd like to make a motion to refer application 24-36, 77 Altamont Ave to the planning board with the approval as submitted with the previous conditions listed.
Sure, would you like me to read them again? What we'll do after the meeting is we'll summarize in a memorandum from this board to the planning board, and these conditions will be listed out. So
Perfect.
they are, include a block diagram with a footprint of the existing home, the elements that are being removed, and the new elements so that each is clear. Clarify the note addressing the new footings that are proposed. The windows in the attic should be proportional to the other windows and rectangular. Add a horizontal element between the first and second floors. Add a white composite handrail to the front steps. Realign the proposed windows in a 4-1 grid pattern to complement the front door. The top of the retaining wall should not be flush to the grade. Consider making the wall approximately 6 inches higher than the adjacent grade. Show the leaders on the elevation, and the lighting cut sheet should be included with the planning board submission.
Okay,
Okay.
anybody second?
Oh, second.
All in favor?
Aye,
All righty.
All right,
Thank you very
everybody.
much.
Have a great night.
very good.
please make sure that the planning board sees all those suggestions.
Absolutely.
Okay, now, next up, this evening, we have application 24-41 for 30 and 32 Locust Ave.
Good evening. My name is John Yanacito. I'm an architect, and I'm representing Locust Development LLC, and I have the owner with me this evening. We are proposing the construction of a new single-family residence on the vacant lot located at 30-32 Locust Avenue. And here's the site plan. The proposed residence is highlighted in red. In the front, the driveway is located on the left side of the property, which is highlighted here in green. And then along the side, we have a walkway, some steps and some walkways that lead to the rear yard. And at the rear, we're proposing a 10-foot wide wood deck. At the front, we also have a walkway off the driveway to a covered front porch. This is a street facade drawing showing the relationship to the neighboring homes. So this is the proposed home on the vacant lot. Be a two-story residence. To the left is an existing two-story residence with a detached garage further back in the rear yard. And then on the right is a 1.5-story residence, showing the relationship. These two houses will be approximately the same height, and the one on the corner is slightly lower. The Locust Avenue slopes down from left to right. It's a very gradual, slight slope, nothing too major. And then the subject property actually drops 4 feet in height from the street to the rear property line. Here's the exterior elevations. So on the front, we have the garage overhead door at the left. And then at the right, we're going to have porches both on the first floor and on the second floor. On the sides, we have the second floor cantilevering into the rear yard in order to create a little more space for the depth of the wood deck. So the wood deck is at its maximum setback here. So we set the first floor in a little bit just to get that 10 feet of deck space. And then at the rear, we have the wood deck with the metal railing and some lattice below. This is the rendering showing the finished materials. So the wall surfaces are going to be a stucco in a light gray finish. The coins on the corners, the casings around the windows, the banding around the building are all going to be a stucco also, but in a slightly darker shade of gray. The windows will be vinyl clad in a black finish. The roof surfaces will be a concrete tile in a dark gray finish. The trim boards and the columns will be AZEK painted black. The railings are going to be metal in a black finish. The gutters and leaders will be aluminum in a black finish. The front entrance door and the overhead door will be fiberglass in a black finish. And I have samples of all the materials that I can pass around. And then this is the landscape plan, which was produced by Dan Sherman. So we have a couple of trees, new trees, one at the right corner of the property, and one adjacent to the deck to provide some screenage to the neighbor. We also have a row of plantings along the driveway, between the driveway and the neighboring property. A row of plantings between the driveway and walkway, plantings along the foundation of the front porch, and then rows of arborvitae around the rear property lines to provide screenage to the neighbors' properties. The lights are shown on the elevation, and I did submit a cut sheet of the lighting fixture, and those will be similar at every location. And that's about it. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions. And I'll show you, I'll give you the
Is the killer.
That's the roof.
This is 2 lots in one, to one?
So they're 2 25-foot lots. For some reason, they're on the tax.
Yeah.
They show up as two separate.
They're actually subdivided lots. They're going to need to be merged.
Oh, we have to merge them?
Yeah, because they are lots shown on a filed map. They're not just tax lots.
Okay.
Yeah. We could talk about that tomorrow. That's not really for this board, yeah.
Okay.
And this
So
is the,
that's why it's got like the double barrel,
We had to put two numbers.
30 and 32.
Yeah, because
Okay.
on the tax map, it comes up as two separate.
Right, okay.
excuse me, this is the color as well, right? It's not just.
That's the color.
Okay.
And that's stucco. And so that's the stucco of the wall surfaces, and then the coins and the trim are gonna be slightly darker than that. This is AZAC, everyone knows AZAC. Metal railing. And then this will be the overhead doors, but in black,
Okay.
and no glass on it.
No glass?
And the other,
No, because,
On the garage?
I want glass,
you want glass on the garage?
yeah.
Yeah, I think it would look nicer.
Are they gonna be black? The door's gonna be black?
Huh?
I have a, I guess I'm gonna start as usual.
Sure.
All right, so this is being built for someone, or it's being sold? But you have, well, the reason why I'm saying that is because, I'm sorry to say this, you know, it looks dated, the house. Stucco and coins, it's like, but, you know, you know, 'cause that's kind of Mediterranean kind of look in a sense, but he's trying to do a modern elements on a Mediterranean house with the colors and the railings. Like the couple of things that I would change, in my opinion, is glass on the door, which is easy. Some kind of, and I know every architect does it, but I think this house needs it, is a roof over the garage with the clay as well on brackets to give that kind of, you know, separate that.
Well, we got the space, we could do that. Yep.
And how you have the 4 AZAC columns on the lower level, the front elevation reads to me like a rear elevation.
Right.
So I'm trying to make it not read that way. So,
So originally I had a roof going across here, and
Yeah.
that would have done it, but he, you know, the owner wanted a porch on the
all right, so this is what I was thinking. So the roof over the garage, now,
The thing is, it's very tight here for this roof over the garage, but, you know,
So how about a wooden portico? You know how those, you would have the,
like a trellis?
yes, like a
it's
trellis.
not,
And-
I mean, you're only gonna have to come out, project 3
Well, you
feet,
gotta-
come
you gotta
up
get a-
3
You
feet.
gotta get a pitch on it.
Yeah, but you have 6, 7 feet, but 6, regardless.
You got about a foot
No, I'm
and a
talking
half.
about, you know, like,
No, the
like on
height
brackets.
is not a problem,
Yeah.
it's just if you're trying to.
Oh, the width?
flare it
Oh, no,
out.
no flare, just straight out.
Just straight
For
out?
example, on some kind of like, make it look like timbers holding the
Right.
roof up.
Yeah.
Like a Mediterranean
That's what I just
style.
Okay,
The 4 AZAC black columns on the lower level, I think that should project between the railings on the second level.
Right.
So it reads like 3 sections of railing.
also make these thicker here?
Yeah, well, the same size, basically like make.
Like piers.
Exactly.
Because it seems heavy on the bottom and light on the
heavy.
top.
Yeah, I agree.
And also, I don't want to spend the builder's money, but I think, again, because I think the rear elevation, it looks like a rear elevation. And, you know, you have the door and the windows on both sides and that small bedroom in the front. I would maybe, if you can, raise the roof over those like make some kind of like eyebrow dormer or something So those windows have a transom above all three of them.
Yeah, this is just gonna be, what, another peak there?
Or something like that to give it,
Okay.
I mean,
More of a front facade look.
well,
Yeah.
I just, like,
Yeah.
and if you're going for a Mediterranean look, if that's what you're trying to do with the clay and
Well,
stuff.
it started with the clay, with
Right.
the concrete
I think
roof,
also,
so-
because most Mediterraneans, you have a lot of detail, obviously, but like, there's a lot of arches. So between the columns on the lower level, maybe instead of being a straight beam above it, maybe a slight arch between each column.
So 3 arches, that might be a little bit too.
This is a little bit,
And also the front
visually,
door,
maybe this will help.
the front door, I think, 100% needs transoms on both sides. Side lights, I'm sorry.
We have it, yeah, I think we have it. Yeah, I think I think the piers are here, work well. I can do the arch over there, the roof over the garage. I don't know about the arches on the bottom, though.
Yeah, I was just talking like a slight
Yeah.
something.
Well, I think this arch here would have to relate to the arch over the, somehow,
All right.
you know?
And glass in the top of the door. I think garage doors always look nice when there's glass above. Even at night, like you keep the light on, it kind of like ties it all together.
Side lights. I think adding side lights to the front door would also give it more of a front door.
Entrance, entryway.
Look.
Yeah.
Especially since it's set a little bit back, you kind of need to highlight that. Hey, I'm the front door.
Okay, all great suggestions right now.
But I don't think you need the coins. It'll make, yeah.
More bling.
No. You don't.
Also, because of the gray color, I mean, I love black windows, I like black, but it's lacking warmth for this style, for that style, like that kind of, it's not going, like, I would say gray is more of a, like a modern.
Yeah, the only
kind
thing
of
is
a look.
we're trying to play off that roof. The whole thing started with the roof. I mean, unless we go with
Yeah.
something a little different on it.
You could
color on the
go,
roof.
with this color, you could go taupe,
Yeah,
if you want it, not gray, like a
it's
taupe.
like almost a creamy gray, cream and gray mixed. Oh, you have
No,
the
not,
tiles
we're
already?
not talking about the tile.
Hey.
Talking about just the paint of the stucco.
The color of the stucco,
Yeah.
yeah. Something a little bit warmer.
Okay. Yeah, that's easy.
Well, everybody loves black, white, and gray houses still.
Yeah.
It's what's in.
I don't know why.
It works for certain, like even for colonials, it looks good, black shutters, black, like,
Yeah.
but,
I mean, like the modern farmhouse kind of.
Right,
yeah.
black and white, yeah.
Yeah, there's something about the dark pillars and everything of the porch that felt kind of heavy.
Heavy,
At the
yeah.
bottom, yeah.
Yeah.
And dark.
Yeah, I mean, we could, but I don't know if he wants to change them to white.
Well, I think it needs to marry with, the other colors, you're using.
I mean, it also reads, it is obviously black, but, the rendering, like, once there's lighting under it's gonna change. You'll have lighting under the ceiling, it'll read lighter,
Yeah,
Oh, we can go like
Yeah.
bronzy instead of
Yeah.
black,
Yeah.
dark black.
like charcoal, whatever.
well, what color is the roof?
This,
Black.
this color.
It's,
It's like a gray.
Okay. Yeah, so I wouldn't go too far from that. Make it look like it's off.
You're going to have lights on each side of the garage door?
With the new roof, maybe not.
Right.
Okay,
go like from above.
Yeah, we'll
You
do
can
some
just,
downlights,
downlights, okay,
because the brackets are gonna go there.
right,
okay.
like
Just making
corbels,
sure.
kind
Yeah,
of.
some kind of swooping, yeah.
And the coins on the corners, like, that's a, Again, it's a European, kind of older European
Yeah, I mean, we
influence.
don't have to have coins, just, I mean, it was stucco, so I
I
figured.
just think, like, I understand why you're doing it, but you're limiting yourself for somebody buying that house with certain things. The
Yeah.
coins, like, the pediment above the windows, like, I would eliminate that for sure. You know, the little,
The key?
Oh, the little key?
the key.
Just go straight.
I mean, but the coins is really up to you, but like,
It
I'm
reads
just saying, like,
1980s to me.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't-
no, it's definitely dated. yes,
yeah, it
absolutely.
kind of gives it
It's a
like
very
like a 1980
specific-
look.
Yeah.
So I don't know if
You'll
people
see a
might not
couple
want
houses
that.
That look very similar in
Yeah.
town that were
Yeah,
built in the
where I grew
80s.
up in Ireland, like,
Yeah.
all those
Everywhere.
houses,
Yep.
you know, in the town had those coins.
Yeah. Was,
But I'm an old guy.
was. Not much older
That's
than you.
because they're stone buildings, they're stone buildings,
They were
that's
actually
why.
functional back
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, they were.
They were functional.
Still, yeah.
They weren't ethos.
Yeah, yeah, I just don't think that's necessary.
Yeah. So even the coin, get rid of the coins and just have.
I just,
I mean, I,
I
you know,
don't think they're, I don't
They're
think
not
that's a
adding.
huge addition, and I think you're kind of boxing yourself
Actually, it takes
into,
away, I
It
think.
does,
a
it
very kind of
detracts.
specific,
but I think the banding, the band going around it breaks up this elevation.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Yes.
Freeze,
I
yeah,
like the horizontal
yeah,
band.
Yeah,
So we'll keep that band, and it ties into the side of the porch anyway, so it kind of disappears here, so you don't.
Right.
see it there. Okay, so, and this will be gone because we'll have the roof there. Okay.
But that's where it'll be, right? The roof kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah, the roof will be
on a
somewhat.
road
Instead of
across
the-
the top of the,
Yeah, I mean, we could start it right at the bottom of the band and then swoop up.
yeah, I think it needs to, it needs to have some degree of,
Relationship to that
and,
band.
and the
to
same
that-
sort
to
of
that-
level as the top of the, the top of the balcony. Remind me again, Silvio, what, I'm not a huge fan of, the two windows and the glass door at the top. It kind of looks like the back of the house as opposed to the
Yeah.
front of the house. Like,
I
are
mean,
you
I
looking?
can separate this into three separate, make one a
Oh,
door and
yeah,
the other two windows.
there's a closet right there, so you have to,
Oh, there's a closet there?
yeah.
Yeah, I don't even remember
Yeah.
what the plan looks like.
That's why it is where it is, I think.
And I guess the intention is if you have a balcony there, people are gonna go out on it?
I mean, initially, I wanted a roof on that, a metal black roof going
Right.
across, but you wanted a porch, right, on the front? Yeah, second floor?
Themselves.
I mean, no, it's gonna have to have.
All right,
be
well, listen, that's
waterproof.
the answer. No door then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets a little more complicated.
I just think it doesn't fit.
I agree. The
So
roof,
then
I
you're
think
the architect.
The roof would look better,
Right,
but
It's also not
I
the
also have
primary
to, I have to
bedroom,
also meet
so.
my client's
Not
needs.
like
I got you. Well, listen, that's why you're good at your job, John.
But it's almost Mediterranean, so
Almost.
pushing it a little bit more makes
Yes.
it Mediterranean.
Pushing it,
Yeah, because
Further-
then we
further.
could actually use the tile on there, not the, now, I don't know if having a roof here and a roof here might be a bit much, but I can take. a
well,
look.
listen, I'm not saying you gotta, nix the railing and the,
The whole
But I
porch.
think
I just think that, this sort of.
Is it
you
actually
know,
gonna be used a
the
lot?
win-
It's not even
it's
a
not-
master
It's not gonna be
bedroom.
used.
I mean, I probably would never
Way.
sit up there. I
It's
mean,
not the master either, it's a
Yeah.
children, it's a,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's
the
a
master
good way
in the
for the
back.
teenagers to escape.
yeah.
exactly.
Oh, great.
But I certainly think the two windows and the door,
Yeah. So maybe I can do a double French door. So if it'll fit.
That
But
might
again,
work.
it's not the master, so it's like even,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like why?
and how do you, for privacy, do you put blinds on that? Just think,
Yeah, so that's why we couldn't do the three windows. I'll.
think you need to play
I'll
with
talk
it
to
a
my
little bit.
client about it, and if you want, if it,
He's just looking to, get it built and
Finish it.
on to the next one.
and we want to make it as attractive as possible.
That's
so
right.
it sells quickly.
We do,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't we all?
Okay.
All right, so is this one, well, we can open to the public.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to make a motion to open application 20, I'm sorry, 24-41, which is the address 3032 Locust Avenue, to the public hearing. Does anyone here wish to comment or question regarding? If so, please come to the mic and introduce yourself and your address.
Good evening. My name is Marcello Solano. I live at 24 Locust Avenue, which is a house to the right, the adjacent. My biggest concern is 24 Locust Avenue has a high water table. And since it was originally one lot before it was subdivided, I believe all my drainage pipe goes into a dry well that's located on property 30 and 32. So when they start construction, I was told by my lawyer, who obviously you all know, he previously passed away, Peter Nerzia, that when they do start construction, if my leaders and my drainage is part of that property, the builder's entitled to correct my drainage, because the last thing I need is more excessive water going into my house, because when we have heavy rains, my basement gets water in it as it is. So I'm not opposed to building the house. I'm all for it. I knew when I bought the property, a house was going to be built there. I'm just more concerned about them or the owner, or not them, I know the owner, I met him, but eliminating my drainage, and then that's going to cause more water problems for me. And I shouldn't acquire
Sure.
the extra expense
I'm-
to
So-
redo my
I'm not
property.
understanding why your drainage is on another person's property.
It was all one property before it was
Oh, your house was
subdivided.
part of those properties
Yes,
as well?
it was all one property.
Oh.
So they're building the house in the middle, as he showed you
Okay.
one of his drawings. And he already has the front sloping down to my property as it is. And I know the trees in the back will soak up a lot of the water, but if he cuts me from the dry well, then they're entitled to redo my drainage of my property,
Yeah,
from what
that's,
I was told by the.
yeah, that's
by the board.
a private agreement between the two property owners, so that aspect, your rights and their right to relocate it would be something that the two of you would have to kind of discuss and review. During the site plan review process, the town's engineer will look through the plans and consider the stormwater management proposals for the property, and if your property is tied into that, that's something he would look at as well. But as to the relationship and your right to discharge onto that property, that's a private matter for the two properties.
Yeah, but I'm not following you. How is it a private matter? If my drainage is already there, how can he cut me off?
Well, it depends on how it got there and what your legal right to discharge there. I understand what you're saying, but that will be dictated by whatever legal agreement between the two property owners, maybe at the severance of title, gave you the right to discharge onto the other property. And that could be depicted on the site plan.
It was all one property to begin with.
Right, but once the title split and one went to one owner and one went to the other, that should have been addressed.
Well, the guy who did it should have done it.
You're right.
Right.
When
You're
they
right.
subdivided,
And
the previous
also,
owner
just-
should have done it before he subdivided, but
what's
he
gonna
didn't do it.
happen-
But my lawyer always told me that I was protected, because Eastchester knows that once the land is subdivided, if the drainage is on that property, Eastchester's supposed to take care of it when they build and the inspector goes look at it.
But Eastchester's not building.
No, I know, but the inspector
property owner is
goes-
building.
But basically, what has to happen is your drainage has to be new drainage. You can't use the dry wells on that property. It's gonna have to be moved to your property.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of who's paying for it. That's what it comes
Yeah,
down to.
that's what I mean, but I shouldn't acquire the
You're right.
expense when.
So that's something you have to, like, yeah.
Originally, it was all one parcel to begin with.
All right.
Well, you may want to go back and look at your records from your purchase, because it may have been handled then, and you want
Oh,
to see
he's
what's in
not
there.
here. The guy never did it. I know the guy who, he just bought it to do a quick flip. He didn't do anything, he didn't even maintain the lot, he didn't do anything, the previous owner. He just bought it for a
Yeah,
quick
that's,
flip.
well,
Because your house is an older house, right? Yours is the 1.5-story house?
Yes.
To the right?
Correct.
That's-
your rights and responsibilities as to how the drainage will be relocated onto your property, that's a private agreement between you and your neighbor. But during the site plan review process, if that has to occur, that will be something that they will show on their plans that the town engineer will review. But we don't provide the legal right for that. That has to be from a private agreement between you and your neighbor.
We could set up a meeting with the drainage engineer that's working on the project, and we can all meet there and see where this drain exists. And
Sure.
see what we can do.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
You're right, it's gonna have to be a private agreement between yourself and the property owner to figure out how it gets resolved. 'Cause
Yeah, but how can it be like that if it was originally one parcel? I'm not the one who subdivided it. I shouldn't be responsible for spending 5-10 grand to redo my drainage when my drainage was already correct.
But
We're not saying that you have to, we're saying we don't know who has to. It probably has to be done, because now's the time that it needs to be severed in some way, by, putting something for you on one place and putting something for the other guy in the other place. But it's not up to the town to,
Yeah, but
be-
how is that fair to me when the town approved the subdivision, the town is gonna approve the building, but the town's gonna make
But you're
me
really,
acquire
you're
the
talking right now to
expense?
the ARB, which is really an aesthetic board. The planning board would be a little bit more appropriate for this issue, but also it's really an issue that has to be looked at the building and planning department and going over it. It's not like, you can come here and we can say, as a volunteer board, yeah, you don't have to pay for that, he does. I mean,
Ah, I
that just
wanna
can't
make- I just
happen.
wanna
If
be
this-
on the record and
Yeah.
be aware.
and you are on the record.
And if this
I'm not,
was,
like, again, I'm not opposed to him building,
no.
I'm all for it.
The other thing
I'm just
nobody's
concerned
mentioned,
about the water.
I get you, and that's a valid point, and you're absolutely right in addressing it in this forum. The other issue is, are you guys even aware of this? Like, is this within the footprint of the property where you're looking to excavate and put a basement? So that's another issue.
Oh, the owner knows, I showed him. He knows where it is.
The owner as in who?
It's for leader drains, is it for footing drains, or?
No, where's the one with the three pitch? It's gonna be over here in the back corner. In the back corner here? Yeah, where's the one with the 3 houses?
There's the
The
streetscape,
elevations, yeah. That's really not a plan, but,
Yeah, you really can't get off of this.
Yeah, but it's gonna be back here in the corner.
Yeah, so this is the back part.
By this white fence,
It is
white picket fence,
Yeah.
towards the back, you're gonna see it underneath. Oh, he
So
cleared it
that's
out.
somewhere back here.
I'm sorry, but I don't think the mic is picking you guys up.
Yeah.
Gary, is it being picked up, the sound? Okay.
yeah, perhaps the first thing to do is to review the records of the subdivision that created your lot. That should be our first step.
Right.
You build it.
Had to be a
You also have a
survey and a
slope coming
plot
here.
plan.
So this is not, you see, my house is all level.
So right now,
you have a-
right now it's sloping this way, so what we're doing is
I
we're
think he
creating
just
a
knows that
driveway.
everything
Yeah, but
kind
you
of
have you have like a
goes
foot and a
subgrade
half
and-
drop here.
of rocks, if it's like nice.
Should be
The
handled
one with all the pictures.
in the building department and privately, not at the architectural.
You already have a drop here.
Yeah,
So now with heavy rain, the water's gonna flow this way.
well, this is all grass here, so
Yeah,
all,
but it's a hill.
and this driveway's going out towards the street.
Yeah, I know, but this is, with heavy rain, this is a high water
Well,
table.
then
on
we'll-
your side.
then we'll-
In general, when new construction is done, the amount of drainage and French drains and this drain and that is so much more now than it ever was. So putting new construction where, on that property will help the properties all around it.
I
Yeah,
understand that, but this is the thing. See, my house is this one.
yeah,
The drainage over here, this was one parcel. So all my leaders are on the ground, which I believe go to this here, because when the heavy rains, this backyard floods. It's all water over here.
so,
It's all near where the dry well is.
yeah.
My backyard doesn't flood. So I'm to
Need the
believe
mic.
that all my leaders that are in the ground goes to the dry well that's here.
When this application, this is the architectural review board, so there, and when this goes to the planning board, right, because this is, Right, because this is the first step in the
It's only
process.
the first meeting.
So they haven't gone to the planning board yet, but when they get to the planning board, they will have a more detailed stormwater management plan, which might provide some of the information that you're,
Also, you do with the previous guy, then when it goes to the planning board, you.
It will be there.
It is.
Yeah.
It's all
This
minuted.
is getting recorded.
demanded.
So whatever you're saying is getting recorded.
right.
That's part of the planning board.
All right, like I said, I'm not
List.
opposed to,
No, I got you, but as a homeowner,
it only is gonna help my house and my value, so I'm not.
right,
opposed
but
to-
as a homeowner,
Yes.
you have a responsibility to make sure that, you know, you protect your corner, right? And this is, you know, your new neighbor, right? Whatever sort of agreement he had with the same guy who sold you your house and sold this guy that lot, is it the same entity?
Did you both buy your properties
From
from
the
the
same
same
guy?
person?
All right, so, you know, as part of any sort of sale agreement, especially if you're selling a piece of property, it's got to be surveyed by a licensed surveyor. You know, it's got to be, you know, a document is prepared by a surveyor, an engineer, signed and sealed. And, you know, any pertinent information
Should be there.
should be included on,
Another reason why I'm here today is because I lost my attorney, which was taking care of this. And when they were to go build, he was gonna help me, you know, with this situation. Unfortunately, you know.
And you may want to find somebody who can help you go through perhaps your title material or your subdivision plat to help you understand what kind of easements came along with the title.
He was my lawyer, my
Right.
realtor lawyer, so he knew, and he said, you know, don't worry about it, because once they build, Eastchester, you know, has gotta get involved. I mean, they have to, if the drainage does go there.
Was he a sole practitioner, or did he have a partner, or?
well,
I think you know who he was.
right, right.
He was on the zoning.
He was on the zoning board.
But listen, I think, again, just giving you our 2 cents worth, I think you need new representation, obviously. This is important to you as a homeowner. I think it's clearly out in the open now. You've come and said it. I think, you know, our planning director said in the next, you know, review process, that's the board that's going to look at it in more detail.
You will get another notice
Yeah.
for that, yes.
Every board gets a notice, yeah.
Okay, you're welcome.
I just want to, thank you. I just want to echo a couple of the words.
If you would, your name and address,
Oh,
please?
thank you. I'm Brendan McCauley. I'm at 79 Bell Road. I live behind this home that's being built.
Okay.
You do not have pictures of where my house is to the new property, and the houses that have been built in the neighborhood, a few of them have been built already by this builder. They're nice houses, looks lovely. My big concern is echoing the concern over the water. There is a dry well, it's a low water table. I have everything on video that the area floods tremendously. I already have separate conversations going on with the town around the catch basins in the area, which don't capture enough water. So my big concern is, yes, there's a dry well, it's sitting right there, it's been covered, but where is all that water gonna go? I also would be interested in knowing how much of that new property is going to have visibility into my yard and my privacy. I see a lot of porches and decks. I'm right there. And I see that the house is also going to be set back from the road, which means that the house will butt up against my fence. So I've lost all of my privacy completely on this property when I've lived here since 2012. So we've seen a lot of new things happen in this neighborhood and new renovations, but there is very little attention being paid to the water flow in the area, very little, because it's only 5 of us that occupy this area that gets flooded. And putting a new house in there without a plan, I want to know where the sump pumps are going to be, how they're going to flow, because the new owner that buys this house, they're going to have a flood on their first day if they don't have at least 2 or 3 sump pumps operating. I've had to invest, I got FEMA money of almost $10,000 because of the amount of flooding that happens there, by the way. So I echoed what the gentleman said. It's actually a very serious issue. I hope the board takes on a very serious tone in analyzing it. So I don't know what else I can say other than that, but I'd be curious to see plans for the back of the property, how close it gets to my property, and I have concerns about the amount of decks and the amount of loss of privacy when you have a family of 5 now that moves in. everyone's walking around on these decks on the outside of the property, what kind of privacy will I have in my yard? Because I've lost all the trees. I took my deck down and put a patio in so I could have it be more private. And what I see happening in the back of the house here is that I'm going to have a total loss of privacy in my backyard as a result of a very tall deck basically having a bird's eye view into my property.
Okay, maybe the architect can answer some of your questions about the setbacks and where, also the landscaping, and show you those plans and indicate where there will be some greenery covering between the
Yeah, that'd be good
properties.
to know. And also plans for the water, like where, and when the water comes into the property, where's it going to go?
That will be addressed before the planning board. There'll be
Okay.
another board review. This board is reviewing the architectural features of the home. This is the first part of the review process for a single-family home. After
Okay.
this review is completed, it will go to the planning board for site plan review. And during that review, there will be a detailed review of the stormwater management plan. It'll be reviewed by the town engineer.
Okay.
You'll have the detail, I think, that you're looking for in the set of plans that's submitted to the planning
Okay,
board.
I would be happy to share videos that I've taken during rainstorms that I've logged over the last 5 or 6 years, because there's about 20 inches of water that goes into my backyard, which is about 15 by 40, so it's a swimming pool. And if I were to take my fence down, which is all I'd have to do, that water will go onto the new property. So it's out of the kindness of my heart that I have a fence. Because if I take that down, that water is going to flow all over everybody's property, including the gentleman that just spoke. So I'm now the one person pumping out everybody else's sump pumps on my property. So I'm not happy with it, and I don't want it to continue. Okay?
Understood.
Well, basically,
like it
every
addressed.
homeowner's water needs to stay on their own property. So when the engineer designs the water management system, there's going to be underground tanks called Coltex, let's say.
That's good. I mean,
And there's going to be a multiple, there's probably going to be, they have to basically dig a hole, and they're going to pour water in it and see how fast the water comes down. And then, you know, they might have to put 12 dry wells in his backyard.
yeah, it's going to have to, I mean, as long as, I mean,
That's only going to take care of his water.
I have an old well in my yard, too. The water table is extremely low. We hadn't rained in a month, and guess what? The sores are filled still. So it's a big problem in that area. Everything flows down there from Cooper Field. Cooper Field doesn't have the adequate amount of drainage. All the water comes out there, and what happens is that, and I know this isn't part of your business, but you get the baseball field, and you got all that dirt, and now it's in my sump pumps, and I got to replace my sump pumps at my cost because the engines are fired out because of the sand. So, long story short, I'm here tonight with a lot of concern over the amount of privacy that I will have based on the number of decks, the porches, and also how close to my property is this backyard going to be? How far close to my property is this deck going to be?
That's
19
all-
feet.
That's all,
Be away from my property, or?
Yeah, away
Yes.
from your fence.
Okay. Okay. And I'm not against the properties.
25
We've built some
feet.
nice houses. It makes the neighborhood look good. I don't care what the house looks like. I just care about what happens to the water.
yeah, the setbacks are, you know, there's no variances or anything like that with the
Yeah, they're all
setbacks.
to zoning.
So everybody has their, you know, the required setbacks, and so they have to be
Okay.
so far away from the rear of the property.
Okay,
And the
that's the
front and the sides, like everybody has certain set, depending on the size of your lot, how much you have to be away from those borders.
And my only other comment is on the house, in the design, it looks like a lot of railings. It looks a little bit like Mardi Gras, New Orleans top. I just don't like it. No offense, you have some beautiful houses that you guys have built. I've seen there's two of them across the street from me. I watched them all go up. We have 3 of the houses that look exactly alike now. So I kind of feel like a little bit of Santa Barbara just got plopped into Eastchester. But, so I don't, you know, that's just my 2 cents.
Understood.
Okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just address the rear setback. Sir, if you would, he's going to just show you the rear setback and how it kind of,
Yeah, so this is the lot. So I'm assuming you're back here?
Yes, I'm 79 Bell, right back here.
So from the edge of the deck to the property line, we have 19 feet. And then from the face of the rear face of the house to the property line, we have 25 feet. The front, so the only thing that's gonna have railings on it in the back is the wood deck. There are no balconies, no porches on the rear of the property.
How high is the wood deck? be nice to see like a perspective from my house, because there's also there's a brick house, there's a Bosco house on Gaylord, and then my house. And you've shown houses side by side, but you don't have a perspective on that alleyway, because you have Acasella right there too. So this whole area is really getting I almost moved over this.
So
This is
the
getting
the
pretty
deck,
busy.
the deck is about 5 feet above the grade.
5 feet above, so so it's 5 feet above, so somebody standing up is at 11 feet, just, looking into my property.
And then we have a landscape plan where we're proposing to plant new trees around the entire perimeter of the
What kind of
backyard.
trees? How tall?
Arborvitae?
How
They're
tall?
arborvitae.
Let me see,
Not good.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
It'll make a
Green
big
giant,
green
green
wall.
giants.
Yeah.
yeah, they're green giants. I don't know what size he made them here.
They need to be like 10 to 12.
I think it says, I thought it said it on the actual plan itself.
7 to
Right
8
here.
feet.
How many?
7 to 8 feet.
Yeah, it says emerald green arborvitae, 22 at 7 foot to 8 feet high.
Yeah, 7
It's
to
on
8
the
feet.
corner, the one on the plan.
So they'll go in at 7 to 8 feet. They usually grow like
They grow fast.
about a foot or two a year.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would just say consider the potential of the privacy concern the new people would have. They would probably prefer not to be on display to the neighborhood and want a patio that is
Yeah, the only-
a nice space.
The problem with the patio is it triggers other requirements because decks are not looked at the same way in the zoning code. So once we
And
put
And
the
actually,
patio
it
down,
creates
with
more
drywalls.
impervious surface.
right,
Yeah.
then, well, that's what will be over.
Wood deck, the
Yeah.
water
And then we'll
flows
have to get
through
a
and
variance.
drains
And
below.
and then
We'll
it
just have a
creates
little
more
patio.
water,
And more
basically.
drywalls.
Or just more grass.
Less drainage space.
Do what you need to do what you want, it's your freedom. But, my biggest concern was just the privacy factor. It's very noisy over there, I mean, Acasella, you got the guy behind you, you got, this new house, the guy next to you talked about the water. We moved out of the city of Brooklyn for a reason, I got everybody around me.
Everybody has a right to build on a piece of property. If you don't want somebody to be there, you gotta buy it.
You know what year
And keep it that way,
what year
and
this
pay
was
the taxes.
subdivided?
Otherwise, you can't.
The two
can't
lots,
depend upon
the lots
that.
4 and 5 are on a subdivision map filed 1890-something. I don't know if they were part of a bigger subdivision with the neighbor's lot, but these two original
Part
lots,
of this big lot in the corner.
yeah.
And then but that was done more recently, had to be.
Unless that was, unless somebody owned consecutive lots on that original file map. I don't have the title material, so I don't know how these lots came into
Maybe I
being.
can check the file
Yeah.
upstairs and.
Well, we would have, we might have that, but, we'd have to look for subdivisions. If it was the case that somebody just owned multiple lots, we wouldn't necessarily be the receptacle for that information.
Right.
They were already subdivided, but just
There had to be a
owned.
subdivision at some point, an approved subdivision.
There was, the 1890s, there's the filed
Really?
map, yes. Yeah. Which is not uncommon for southern Westchester. It's not, yeah.
Okay.
And can we please remind everybody that when the planning board is, that this will be at the next planning board?
Well, it depends because, first you have to decide if you want to
This
culminate
moves
your
forward.
review,
If this
and
moves forward.
then if the applicant meets the submission deadline. So we can't be sure until the submission is in. The next planning board meeting is December 5th, and the planning board meeting after that goes into January. I don't have the date
Yeah,
offhand.
based on all the changes I have to make, I may not be able to get on that agenda, or I
Sure.
may have to come back here to show you guys the changes. So,
Sure.
we'll
Yeah,
see.
that deadline would be the
Might be in
19th.
January. Depends.
It looks like a beautiful house.
December one is really.
The plans for water, where it's all.
Right.
Yeah, and we've got a drainage engineer on board, and he's,
Yeah, there is actually a plan in the package that you can look at. It's probably preliminary right now.
Because I've sent them to the town, it's a very serious water situation, actually. And the water comes down my neighbor's driveway.
A little too much.
It's gonna come down your new driveway too, because the curb is there now.
well, our driveway, we did our driveway sloping up from the street.
Also, the water can't.
And we raised the house a little bit so that we're not having the water come down the driveway. But this is the drainage plan that the engineer put together. He put the dry wells at the rear, but if it's true that this whole backyard
Yeah, it
floods
has to
here,
be.
It's
we may
not
have
gonna be a
to
good place for them.
we may have to move it
Yeah,
to the
that's,
front yard.
I mean, I'm an engineer and I do some of the drainage stuff. That 5 Cultex looks kind of light for that anyway.
seems
on
light,
top of
too.
it. Yeah.
For a new house and then a 100-year flood, you gotta do, that's what it's gotta be designed for a
But
100 years.
it's actually
Yeah.
not 100-year flood anymore, it happens every year.
Right.
Yeah.
Well-
September. And it used to be Ida and Irene, but now it's like, you can just get an afternoon in July, and I've got all the videos, I've saved every single one of them, because this has been such an issue going back to 2017.
Yeah, that's not enough.
And, I put this fence up to try to stop it, but it doesn't work.
They provide like a boring plan.
So, I have a decorative.
I think
control.
everything funnels
It's
into
real
this,
dumb, it's
this,
every 300 square
all of
feet
these
is one drywall,
backyards. It's
if
the
you
low
don't have a
point in the
bad
neighborhood.
water issue.
Yeah, it's
So
actually
everything-
not
That's why you do the
my
boring.
yard. It's not everybody's yard, because I actually have the lowest point
Surface
in
just to
all
make
that
sure they
area.
don't hit ground.
So, I have filmed it, I have sent it to the town as well to address. I've requested two catch basins.
Where is he gonna put 12 drywalls? Look
The
at
house I
backyard.
bought from the Chavez family in 2017 had already requested a retaining wall in the field. The catch basin is out front on Bell Road, and the town should probably consider two more catch basins to prevent that water from coming into my backyard through my neighbor's driveway, and then flowing, literally coming around and flowing right into your property.
All
So
right.
all I have to do is take my fence down, and the water will continue to right through, right to your new property. And so I'm not responsible for
Yeah.
pumping down the town's water.
The stormwater is a little far afield of this board's authority, so I think we probably want to bring it back just to the architecture, the conversation.
Well, I'll attend the next planning meeting then.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
you will be notified if this one that is located near you is going to be on the agenda for that particular planning board meeting, when it happens. Okay, so then, regarding this application, I think that there are enough changes that we do want to see you at the next
Okay.
meeting, which is in January,
The 9th,
yeah,
the 9th, yep.
the 9th of January.
Okay.
And if we could go back and just review some of
Sure.
the, but you will get that also in.
Right. Yeah, we'll put it in
Yeah.
a memo after the meeting. So the first is to add glass to the garage door, add a roof over the garage door with downlights, project the AZAC railing to the second floor railing, or consider replacing the second floor balcony with just a roof instead of the balcony. Raise the height of the roof with the, near the bedroom windows to create an additional feature there. I guess maybe you want to just say reconsider the second floor window alignment, door alignment, and the balcony, because there are a lot of options that were discussed. Are you comfortable just leaving it at that? For the second
Yes.
floor?
Yeah.
And side lights to both sides of the front door. Consider a warmer tone for the stucco, like a taupe. Remove the coins and keystone at the window. And that would be all of them, because the others consolidate the comments about the second floor and the balcony.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so we'll see you next year.
Yes,
Have a great holiday.
thank you.
All righty, and then, so the public hearing is still open and will remain open until the next meeting. Next up on our agenda tonight is application 23-27, which is 360 White Plains Road.
John.
It's AZAC.
You like that? Yeah. Looks like you. Can you get a tile roof like that?
No,
Thanks.
we didn't have that. We had
Terracotta. You said terracotta.
corduroy?
Yeah.
No, metal,
Oh, metal.
sand and seam,
Standing seam, yeah, yeah.
hammer-toned by the acorns.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night. All righty, so, good evening.
Good evening. You guys hear me? I'm Louis Campana, architect, 7 Pondfield Road, Bronxville. As we all know, 360 White Plains Road, the Chase Bank property. I'm just going to open up the architectural drawings. Located on the intersection between White Plains Road and Cypress. Here's some information, just documenting the existing conditions. Take note here in this aerial photograph, right here. This is the site, or the portion of the site, which will be developed, or is proposed to be developed, with a 2-story office building. Here's a site plan. North is oriented to the left of the sheet. And the hatched area here indicates the new two-story building. You can see these arrows, which would be painted on the surface of the parking lot. We're actually maintaining the existing traffic flow as it stands today. And if you recall from that previous sheet, the underutilized parking lot is exactly where we're locating this structure. We did have to get 2 variances, one of which was for an existing condition for the proximity of the parking lot to the neighboring residential zone. There's more restrictive regulations that are applied to these lots because of the proximity. They're within 150 feet of residential zone. The building meets all the zoning bulk and area requirements. And we did also get a variance for a reduction of 1 parking spot. So we have 88 parking spots as opposed to 89. In between the new 2-story building and the existing, right, is there would be traffic flow and also a loading zone. And here, I guess you would call this the northeastern corner of the building, we would have a garbage enclosure, vinyl garbage enclosure. I have some details that you'll see in a bit. Along the eastern side of the property is an existing retaining wall, varies in height, but 42 inches is approximately the highest elevation, and on top of that, we're going to be implementing a new white vinyl privacy fence, and that detail you can see here at the bottom corner of the page. We did work with, and this is the garbage enclosure. Again, the same detailing as the privacy fence along the perimeter. We did diligently and closely with the planning board over a number of meetings with the intention of developing a building that not only speaks to the existing building but respects the residential scale of the homes next door. Down at the bottom of the page is a streetscape of this property. You can see that this to the left is the existing side building. Here's the ATM, which everyone's familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the new building. You can see we're in scale and keeping with proportions of the existing. And we're connecting that with the breezeway, and there's a reason for that. We're proposing to put the utilities, the AC condensers, on top of the existing building, since our building has sloping roofs. And we're going to go through that breezeway into the new building and down to the mechanicals.
What's the clearance?
14, I have it here, hold on. The clearance is 14.6 purposely for emergency vehicles.
For emergency vehicles, but what about like delivery vehicles? 'Cause that-
14 foot is the standard height for these elements.
Okay, because some of those things are huge, and that's where they'll hit.
That's for what?
That's where they'll hit, right there.
Well, the good thing is that the trucks that come here and deliver for, and it's primarily only for the Sherwin-Williams paint store, they're smaller box trucks.
Okay.
Yeah.
What business is going to go in this building?
We don't know, but it's broken down to 4 office spaces.
So it's an office, it's not a retail?
No.
Oh, so it's not zoned as retail?
Well, you can put, retail is a permitted use, but just based on parking and what we had to do to create what we did, it's going to be dedicated solely to office space. And quite frankly, one of the things that we did do to omit a variance is we turned the building 180 degrees, which you'll see in the renderings. The storefront,
Faces the houses on the back?
no, it faces
No,
Walgreens.
faces north, like the,
It faces
the side.
Walgreens.
Oh.
So we're not allowed technically to have frontage, meaning main building entrance
Okay.
on Cypress leading into a residential neighborhood.
So can you go to the elevation?
Yeah, I think you know what?
Whatever, I'm not looking.
A401?
Instead of that, why don't I just, I'll just bring it to the renderings, because it just, you see it. Okay. So this is the view from the southern
Side.
corner of White Plains Road in Cypress.
Mhm.
And this is sort of in the parking area. There's the ATM, and sort of you see it in perspective in the back there.
So that raised part behind is where all the
Yes.
HVAC stuff is going to go?
But that's
Or the
existing, isn't it not?
That's existing,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
That's existing. So it's going to be concealed by that to the residential area.
Is it just VRF? You're just running refrigerant lines
It's
through
just
that?
refrigerant line.
Yeah, okay, so that's nothing.
Because everything else is going to
Right.
be electric and fed below ground from the existing building's mechanical and services. Here it is. You can see that along the side here, we're also incorporating those parapet gables to not only respect the existing architecture, but also read as more of a residential shape to the neighbors. This is the northern elevation facing Walgreens. We're going to be using the existing brick. We're matching the existing gooseneck lighting fixtures and also signage for the businesses that would be there.
So it's looking, that's it,
Walgreens, yep.
North.
Right, right. So the eastern property line is
Right.
beyond where you see the car parked and the
Right.
plantings along the retaining wall. And I'll show you, this is from the neighboring lot.
right.
So it looks as if you're looking at a
A
house.
house, yeah.
This is the view from the northern corner, looking south into the Stop and Shop parking lot. No, not Stop and Shop, sorry. What is it?
Walgreens.
No, 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 no.
Country Market?
The nail salon,
Country Market.
Yeah,
Country Markets,
Yeah.
yes.
The OG.
And then this is looking to the west from the neighboring property, peeking over the fence to the back portion of the lot. Again, from the front.
Okay, so, these two businesses,
Would have higher rent.
sorry?
It would have higher rent.
the first floors, yeah.
So there's, do they have first and second floors, or there's
No.
one on the first and one on the second,
So
or?
there's 4 office spaces,
There's
2
four
on the
office
first,
spaces.
2 on the first and 2 on the second. Yes. The stairs in the back of the building, which is accessible from these 2 offices and also the door that's towards the Cypress elevation. And this is the back corner of the parking lot.
But retail is permitted?
Retail is permitted, but if the owner wanted to entertain that, my understanding is we're gonna have to go back for site plan review and potentially area variances because the parking load will increase. Is that right?
Right, because we require more
requirements?
parking spaces per square foot than, for retail
Right.
than we do for
Yes,
the,
right,
for the
exactly.
office.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the process would end up being.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
And this is not going to be residential?
Oh, no.
No.
No, no, no. Can't be.
Just want that on the record.
But is that, and again, listen, I'm not sure you're in a position to answer that, right? Like, is that
It's a
the? dir-
hypothetical.
But is it, it's a hypothetical that is potentially, going to be explored?
I can't say that, but there certainly could be the event where someone approaches the owner with the idea, and the owner would know that he would have to do this
What
again.
idea?
It's kind of been
Do
pitched.
you mean for retail or for residential?
No, for retail.
Yeah, and the
Because-
reason why we changed is quite frankly, that there's no way that this building could market itself and have frontage where people would see it. Other than-
This-
Right, like I
this-
see it
yeah.
as a lawyer's office, an architect's office,
Correct.
something like that. But if you're looking to, do a nail salon or like,
There's too many of those.
Well,
There's
yeah.
already one in the front building,
Yeah.
a big one.
I'm sure there's always room for another
I
one.
think there are, and the one, the
not
building next
Eastchester.
door.
But I'm just,
Every
you
third
know,
store is
again,
different, yeah.
listen, this is not but I think, you know, it's a good question to ask.
Yeah, actually, retail was originally proposed. The
Right.
building was much larger, and retail was originally proposed, but when it was downscaled and when the front moved from Cypress to the parking lot, essentially,
Right.
the retail element was removed. I think mainly for that purpose when we originally discussed it, but the parking would be a factor that would have it come back
Yeah,
before
but
the
listen,
boards.
parking's a factor, number one factor in this town, period.
Right, but that would be a threshold to come back for a review.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
if I, you know, put a couple of bucks on that, you know, that's, you know, that's going to be explored, because, again, it's screaming out retail.
I know,
right?
I
It's
was
got
about to say the
sign,
same
It's got
thing.
storefront,
Yes, that's,
The
it's,
storefront
I'm
makes it
confused at what it
Feel
wants to
like it
be.
must be retail.
yeah.
You know, it wants to be a house, it wants to be an office, and it wants to be retail, and it wants to be hidden. So it's like, well, what is it?
Well, it's a rock stuck in a hard place. It's
Yeah, I
between-
just don't
Yeah,
understand the
between-
purpose.
It's between all of those uses and residential, so.
It
to-
just,
to
it's
respect-
too many things at once and nothing at all. I'm sorry, it just looks like a house stuck on the back of a building, but when you go around, it kind of looks like a store, but it's not going to be a store, it might be an office. So what is it?
I mean, right, well, it's enhancing the use of the property,
It's
because currently
someone
it's an
to
empty
collect
parking
for
lot.
rent, that's what it is.
That's what it
Yeah.
is.
It's an empty parking
But I
lot
think
now.
the reality is, and again, you know,
Permitted use in the district.
I'm just curious, so that's why I'm asking the question. I think it's presented in a way to pass muster, right? Like it's a business space, right? Not retail,
Right.
but I
It
would,
has a
I would
storefront.
safely say that it's gonna come back on front of this board. And again, it's not your,
But
you know, it's not your responsibility. I personally think
He's gone
the way
several
you've designed this, I think it's very much in keeping with, you know, with the surrounding. I think
Yeah.
Lou.
It looks nice
you've-
to me.
You've gone like to several like meetings regarding this, like a plan. is it
It's
plan-
on the agenda. I think
is it
there's
plan-
like
Yeah,
right?
it was-
So I'm saying it,
8
for them to,
meetings. Yeah.
he went several times for, I guess, planning or zoning, or which one was it?
Zoning 3 times and planning 5
So
times.
I doubt they're gonna, after all that, they're gonna give you retail, right?
No, that's not our intent. I mean, a
No, I know, I
business-
understand-
a
no, I
business-
understand
but
that.
you're the
business
architect.
could,
I
a business
understand
could
that.
certainly have a
Yeah.
storefront.
Retail's not even
Oh, yeah.
proposed right now. We can't assume that they're going to use it for a
I
use
got you,
that's
but
not
it looks like-
proposed.
It could be
Yeah.
an insurance.
It looks like
But
retail.
it could be an architect's office, right?
Of
Like-
course.
Right, like I
Oh,
think.
now I get it.
What this is doing is it's actually making the space more appealing for a business who maybe wants a bit of a storefront, but
Right.
is not in the middle of everything,
I understand.
you know? So, you know, it certainly enhances the use of the property. Like I said, respects the scale and the architectural vernacular of the existing building, along with being part of a procession into a residential area without having to look at an empty parking
Right.
lot.
And again, not to kind of go down this rabbit hole, but the client is the property owner for that entire parcel?
That's correct.
Chase Bank,
Yes,
the paint store,
yes.
the
Jujitsu?
the yoga shop.
The whole
The old
building.
Blockbuster Video, if anybody ever remembers that.
I was employee of the month.
dating
3 times.
yourself.
Yeah, you were, yeah.
Or it used to be hit or miss, a clothing store.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
So,
Okay,
I remember
anyway,
Blockbuster Video.
aesthetically, back to the aesthetics of it. The front building, the existing building, is that a slate roof?
that's correct. This is going to be slate to match.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
The brick, the aluminum coping that's on top of the parapet gable, the soldier course lintels that are over the openings, and also the roll-out brick sills at the windows.
I had a question just about the front elevation. There were windows up on the upper floor on each side.
Yeah.
Those aren't reflected on the second floor plan from what I'm seeing, unless I've got this oriented wrong.
No, they're not.
Are those actual windows? They're not? If you go to drawing A401,
Yeah, just bear with me for a second.
Just the center window shown.
Oh, so it's just coordination.
Yeah, see on the
That's
plan
just-
there?
Yeah, sorry, just coordination.
Okay, all right, I just wanted to
Those
make
would
sure
be windows.
those will be windows, okay. Um, And then on A402, both of your elevations are labeled as east, just a clerical thing. I think number 2 is west.
Did
Yeah, the west is the one that's in between the two buildings.
All right. So, we need to open the public hearing yet? Yes. So, I would like to open,
Could I just had one more comment.
oh, sure.
On the side that faces Cypress,
Yes.
I know that that's not the main front of the building, but I do know that, you know, being someone that drives down that street all the time, that is very visible from the street. And my one comment on that side is just that the door that you're showing there is very
Back door looking.
industrial, you know, and it's like, it might be nicer if it was something that was a little bit more attractive than just like a kind of plain steel door with a
Yeah.
single
Yeah.
window.
And could those windows be a little bit bigger, like wider, not not taller, but wider? Could you go to that?
I don't know if wider does anything to it. I think proportionally
Well, it looks
they're
a
right the
little,
way they are.
I think especially if there are clients that would be coming in and out of this building and going to the second floor office spaces, they may end up using that door a lot. So it might be nicer just for the future tenants of the building to have like a kind of nicer entryway on
I
that
think that's
side.
only a fire exit.
It
really.
is. It could be used as an entrance, but it's also part of the stairwell. Yeah. So,
But people in the upstairs offices have to go to that stairwell, right?
Yeah.
So if anybody's coming in, you know, if you
The
have,
stairwell's on the other side?
It's
or-
a fire-rated door.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. Polymetal.
And they're just trying to,
fusion
it's
panel.
not a storefront by any means. We don't want to call it or make it look as if it's a main entrance. That's the,
yeah. Mhm. Okay.
Put a pointer on both sides. That's Scott's.
Why am I not?
Because is there a way for, I guess I'm just thinking that,
Okay, so that, now I'm confused. The storefronts, it's the second floor, first floor plan. The storefronts are here, right? Oh, no, they're there, okay. So that's that side.
that's,
The
this
same,
is the
the
small.
same size as the
this is
ATM.
The
yeah, that's
back-
Cypress, that's
The
Cypress.
two
Yeah.
little windows, and this is the bigger windows with the
Right.
entrances on.
the storefront
But I'm
is
just saying,
facing
anybody
all
anybody who
that
has to come in and out,
Side
go
and
up to
wall.
the upstairs offices, has to go through that door to get in, because there's no front entrance that accesses the
That
stairs
door,
upstairs.
yeah. That's kind of weird.
So I'm just saying, if you're a business owner and you had one of the upstairs offices and you have clients coming and going,
Yeah.
that it might be nice to have a slightly nicer entrance there.
Put a canopy over the door.
I think you want to try not to make it look like
don't
a
want it to
frontage
be a
on
store-
Cypress.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
prohibited
I-
under the zoning law. Yeah,
I think
the-
simple
but
is
it's
always,
just-
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it was, it's a bookend to the existing building there.
yeah.
and
Yeah, listen, I think the fact that it's gray, on the elevation, you may paint it the same color as the white, right? The white gable, the door.
The door, yeah, that or the gray aluminum coping that's on the
Yeah.
parapet.
Yeah, and I guess if that's sort of the main entryway to the upstairs tenants, like is there signage, is there door access, anything like that?
We don't want to put signage. I think if perhaps it was an awning similar, not saying similar to the one over the ATM,
Yeah.
but you can certainly have an awning for just, comfort of those who are coming in if it's raining. Would that be considered?
I don't know if the planning board is going to like that. They were very insistent about
were-
that being as plain.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, listen,
Yeah.
I personally like
we want to just be subtle and to just be
Right.
something that seemed like it was always there.
this
Yeah.
flat is good in this
Oh, look at this,
instance.
look at the side of the Chase Bank now.
Right, but I think this is, it's
good-
appealing to me.
It's good, but I thought the other side was
The front.
the front.
That's how we
Like-
started.
Well, but that's the whole,
You
I
can't.
guess the.
Yeah, our zoning law,
How this is evolved.
We couldn't come up with a hardship to actually get a variance for that.
yeah, our zoning law prohibits
Yeah, it
the
does.
front building facade on a street that connects to a
Got it.
residential street.
Got it, but
Yeah.
what if the storefronty facade,
Yeah.
if you just flipped the interior but left the facade over there, so that when they entered, they would be entering like
A stairwell.
into a stairwell, and then the offices would be in the back, that kind of a thing. Do you know what I mean? No?
I do, but I just wanted to give those offices exposure, because then they just have
Okay.
blank. Well, we try to limit the amount of openings on that facade, you
Right,
know?
right. Well, I don't know. Whatever. It's just hokey that that is an entrance door then. It just, and it's kind of,
And it's a
Directionally.
fire-rated door, right?
Yeah.
it's
So unless you
directionally.
go to like a TGP or some kind of a custom fire-rated door, you're limited to the glass.
Limited to the, exactly.
Right.
Where is that elevation? Why am I not seeing it?
What else?
The back door elevation.
400.
That's it.
I think when everything's painted white,
Yeah,
you're
I
just
mean-
gonna have some, the windows, I think
They're
it's.
gonna need some sort
Like,
of
look,
signage on there.
Again,
I know,
you
but
know,
look,
this is
I
just,
think that's,
it's just,
Yeah, but in order to get to the top floor, people are gonna need some sort of directional signage. Right? I mean, they can't go in the front doors.
although inside the building, they'll have signage office 2A and 2B.
I
It's-
know, but how are they're gonna,
I guess she's saying that if I arrive there, I park, how do I know that that's how I enter, that metal
the
door?
second floor?
And then like that, your office is on the
If I
second
go
floor.
to the front of the building and
Unless you-
walk into
unless you've
one
been
of the
there once
stores,
before.
they're gonna say, yeah, go to the back door that doesn't have anything on it. I mean, that doesn't make sense.
yeah, I think there's gotta be some, directional sort of intent as
Be a
to
little plaque.
Yeah, there could be a
where you
plaque
park,
back
whether
Put a
it's,
plaque saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, listen, I think these are
yeah, but that's, yeah.
sort of minor details, but I think, again, personally speaking, I think, the simplicity of this gable,
All right.
I like it.
I mean, this actually does a better job of telling that story, but.
Okay. All righty. So, I'd like to make a motion to open application 23-27 for a public hearing.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So, obviously, there's nobody here to comment because there's nobody here.
Everybody's gone home.
And there has been no main suggestions to keep this here at this board, at this
We
point.
close the public hearing.
Well, yeah. All I've heard was to coordinate the windows on the floor plan and the elevation and to correct the direction on the elevation.
We didn't go through the landscape plan.
Did you get,
I didn't see it.
what
Have our
page is
resident
that?
landscape
Or is it a
architect.
separate?
No, it's in that set of drawing.
L1.
Is this, no, that's a survey. Is it in the set or
Yes.
Azalea.
rendering and the? Not on the-
They're usually in the back.
No sheet. One. Here we go.
So, on the east side of the building, up along the foundation, there's going to be a mixture of arborvitae and pink summer sweet. And along the eastern retaining wall, we have, again, arborvitae and Hicks hue taxus. Those would be set along, as you can see here. We would have the arborvitae after every 6 taxus, just to soften that wall. On the southern peninsula, which is located towards Cypress, we'll have the endless summer hydrangea in the corner, just a pop of color. Nellie Stevens holly in the center. We'll also have catmint, all right, which would sort of run along the base. And, I'm sorry, catmint, which would be right here in front of the holly, and then a yellow daylily, which would run the perimeter of the peninsula. They were selected purposely because of their resistance to salt during those winter months.
Well, that's a good,
On the northern peninsula, towards the back corner, which you also saw in the rendering, we'll have blue spruce at the center, sort of anchoring it, with endless summer hydrangea right in front of it. Okay, we have zebra grass at the back corner here. Shasta daisy at the base. And again, yellow dwarf daylily, a cluster of them in that island as well. Along the northern property line, we'll have porcupine grass and pink summer sweet in a mix, with existing greenery as a backdrop, mainly on the neighboring property. And we have taxus on both sides of the peninsula, a taxus hedge on both sides of that peninsula, just completing that corner. And that's it.
any comments or questions?
Nope.
All righty. So, back to our motions. I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing for application 23-27, unless I did that already.
No.
Okay. And then I'd also like to make a motion to refer application 23-27 for the address 360 White Plains Road to the planning board as submitted with,
Just the conditions to coordinate the windows on the floor plan and elevation and to correct the direction on the elevation.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Very nice. Good
second
luck.
that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All righty. And I'd like to make a motion to close the meeting. Our next meeting for the Architectural Review Board will be January 9th, 2025. We do not meet in December.
And then the Building and Planning Department, this is Enda and Jennifer's last meeting, so I
Yep.
just wanted to thank them for their service on the board. And we will
20 years.
seriously miss you both on the board.
Thank you very much.
So now you have to
Very
get
much.
two more people before January
So
2nd?
much.
Nice.
Oh, my
What's
gosh.
going on? Oh, my God.
20 years
Thank
is
you all. I'd
not
like to
enough.
make a motion
I
to
know, but
close
who's
the
gonna be on this
meeting.
board now?
Second.
You're killing-
All in
you're
favor?
killing me.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, my God.